The doctor's hands are steady. They have always been steady. 34 years of surgery, over 11,000 operations, hands that have never trembled. Until today, he sits across from Oprah with those famous hands folded in his lap, hiding them, concealing them. Because today, those hands are shaking, and for the first time in 27 years, Dr. Michael Okonkwo is about to tell the truth about why he is 71 years old. He is one of the most celebrated neurosurgeons in American history. He has received every award his profession offers. He has trained hundreds of surgeons who practice around the world. He is, by every measure, a legend. But legends carry secrets, and his secret is about to destroy everything the world thinks it knows about him. Oprah begins the interview normally. She asks about his career, his accomplishments, his philosophy of medicine. He answers with practiced ease, charming, articulate, humble in the way famous people learn to be. And then Oprah asks a simple question. Dr. Okonkwo, what made you become a doctor? Something changes in his face. The charm falls away. The practiced ease dissolves. Beneath it is something raw, something wounded, something that has been waiting 27 years to be spoken. He opens his mouth. He closes it. He tries again. And when he finally speaks, his voice is different, smaller, younger. Like the words are coming from a version of himself he buried decades ago. That I became a doctor, he says, because I killed someone. And I have spent my entire life trying to make up for it. The studio goes completely silent. Oprah freezes. 400 people hold their breath. And Dr. Michael Okonkwo begins to tell a story that will unravel everything he has built. How do we get here? Rewind 121 minutes. The morning had begun with celebration. Today's show was supposed to honor Dr. Okonkwo's retirement. 34 years of service, a legacy that would outlive him by generations. The production team had prepared a spectacular episode. Video tributes from former patients, surprise appearances from colleagues, a special award from the American Medical Association. It was supposed to be a coronation, a final victory lap for a man who had earned it. But Dr. Okonkwo had arrived at the studio with a different plan. He had walked in alone at 8 a.m. No entourage, no publicist. Just a man with steady hands and an unsteady heart. He had asked to speak with the producers privately. He had told them he had something he needed to say, something he had never told anyone, something that would change the nature of the episode entirely. They had tried to dissuade him. They had reminded him of the planned tributes. They had warned him about the risks of revelation. But he had been immovable. I have hidden long enough, he had said. Today is my last day as a public figure, and I will not end it with another lie. They had agreed to give him space. They had warned Oprah that something unexpected might happen, but they had not told her what, because they did not fully know. Subscribe and leave a comment, because the most powerful part of this story is still ahead. When Dr. Okonkwo said the words, "I killed someone," Oprah's training kicked in. She did not react visibly. She did not gasp or lean back. She simply waited, creating space, allowing the confession to continue. Dr. Okonkwo looked at his hands. "I was 17 years old," he said. "Growing up in Lagos, Nigeria. My family was poor. My father worked 3 jobs. My mother sold vegetables in the market. We had nothing. But we had each other." He paused. "I had a younger brother. His name was Emmanuel. He was 15. He was brilliant, much smarter than me. Everyone said he would be the one to make something of himself. He was the hope of our family." His voice cracked. "And I killed him." Oprah's expression remained neutral, but her eyes were focused, completely present. "What happened?" she asked gently. Dr. Okonkwo took a breath. "There was a fever," he said, "a disease sweeping through our neighborhood. Emmanuel got sick, very sick. We could not afford a doctor. We could not afford medicine. We could only pray and hope." He shook his head. "But I was 17. I thought I knew things. I had read some books. I had talked to some people. I thought I could help." He looked at his hands again. "There was a man in our neighborhood who sold remedies. Herbs, mixtures, things he claimed could cure anything. I went to him. I bought something. I gave it to Emmanuel." He was crying now, silent tears streaming down his face. "It was poison," he said. "I did not know. I was trying to save him. But I killed him. The mixture destroyed his kidneys. He died 3 days later, screaming in pain because of what I gave him. The audience was stunned. N01 moved. N01 whispered. They just listened to him. Why parents never blame me, Dr. Okonkwo continued. They said it was God's will. They said I was only trying to help. But I knew the truth. I knew that my ignorance, my arrogance, my belief that I could fix something without proper training had killed my brother. He wiped his eyes roughly. "So, I made a vow," he said. I would become a real doctor, a proper doctor. I would learn everything there was to know about the human body. And I would spend my life saving the lives I had failed to save as a child. But he looked at Oprah. "That is why I became a doctor," he said. "Not because I loved medicine. Not because I wanted to help people. Because I was trying to pay a debt. A debt to my brother. A debt I can never fully repay no matter how many lives I save." Behind the scenes, Oprah made a decision that defied every producer's expectation. She did not move to the prepared tributes. She did not try to lighten the mood. She leaned in deeper. "You said you killed someone," she said. "But what you have described is a tragic accident. A desperate act by a child trying to save his brother. Why do you call it killing?" Dr. Okonkwo shook his head. "Because I've been lying about it for 54 years, he said. Because I let everyone believe I became a doctor out of noble motivation. Because I accepted every award knowing that the foundation of my career was built on my brother's grave." He paused. "And because there is more." Oprah waited. 27 years ago, Dr. Okonkwo continued, "I faced another choice. Another moment where ignorance and arrogance could destroy a life. And this time I had no excuse. I was a trained surgeon. I knew better. And I still almost let it happen." "What happened?" Oprah asked. Dr. Okonkwo's hands began to shake visibly. "I had a patient," he said. "A young woman, 23 years old. She came to me with a brain tumor. I was supposed to remove it. It was supposed to be straightforward." He swallowed hard. "But during the surgery, I made an error. A small error. A moment of distraction. And suddenly she was bleeding. Bleeding in a way I could not control. And I froze. Just like I had frozen as a child. Just like I had frozen when Emmanuel was dying." He looked at his hands. "For 17 seconds I stood there," he said, "doing nothing. Watching her die on my table. Watching history repeat itself. This is the moment no one in the studio and no one watching at home ever saw coming." Dr. Okonkwo's voice steadied. "But then something happened," he said. "Something I did not expect. Something that saved her life and destroyed mine at the same time." "What happened?" Oprah asked. "A nurse," Dr. Okonkwo said. "Her name was Catherine Williams. She had been with me for 12 years. She saw me freeze. She saw the patient dying. And she did something that went against every protocol in medicine." He paused. "She pushed me aside," he said. "She took the instruments from my hands. And she stopped the bleeding herself." The audience gasped. "She was not a surgeon, Dr. Okonkwo continued. "She was a nurse. But she had watched me perform hundreds of surgeries. She knew what to do. And in that moment, she did it." He shook his head. "She saved that patient's life," he said. "Not me." And when the surgery was over, when the patient was stable, Catherine looked at me and said something I have never forgotten. What did she say? Dr. Okonkwo met Oprah's eyes. She said, "You need to deal with whatever is haunting you. Because next time, I might not be there to save you from yourself." He wiped his eyes. "But there is more," he said. "Something I have never admitted until today." "What?" "I took credit for saving that patient," Dr. Okonkwo said. "In the report, I wrote that I had stopped the bleeding. That it was my skill, my quick thinking, my hands that had saved her. I erased Catherine's heroism completely." The audience shifted uncomfortably. "She never contradicted me," Dr. Okonkwo continued. "She never told anyone what really happened. She let me have the glory. And I let her." He looked at his hands again. "For 27 years, I have lived with that lie. For 27 years, I have accepted praise for something I did not do. For 27 years, I have pretended to be a hero when I was actually a fraud." He looked at Oprah. "And that is why I am here today," he said. "Not to celebrate my retirement, but to confess, to finally tell the truth, to give credit where it belongs." He turned to face the audience. Catherine Williams saved that patient's life, he said. Not me. She was the hero. And I have let her work in obscurity for 27 years while I collected accolades that belonged to her. He paused. She is here today, in this audience, because I asked her to come, because I need to apologize to her in front of the world. Share and subscribe. Make sure this story is never forgotten. The audience began to murmur. Heads turned, eyes searched, and then a woman stood up. Row 12. Seat 7. Catherine Williams, 64 years old, silver hair, dignified posture, eyes that had seen everything. Oprah gestured for her to come to the stage. Catherine walked slowly down the aisle. She climbed the 3 steps. She stood before Dr. Okonkwo. They looked at each other. 27 years of silence between them. 27 years of a secret shared. 27 years of one person being erased while another was elevated. Dr. Okonkwo spoke first. I am sorry, he said. I am sorry for taking credit that belonged to you. I am sorry for letting you work in the shadows while I stood in the spotlight. I am sorry for every award I accepted, every honor I received, every moment of praise that should have been yours. He reached into his pocket. He pulled out a medal, gold, heavy, engraved. This is the Distinguished Service Medal from the American College of Surgeons, he said. It was given to me for that surgery. The surgery where I froze. The surgery where you saved the patient. He held out to her. IT belongs to you, he said. It always has. Catherine looked at the medal. She did not take it. She looked at Dr. Okonkwo. And she spoke. Her voice was clear, strong, unbroken. I do not want a medal, she said. The audience held its breath. I never wanted credit, Catherine continued. I wanted you to heal. I wanted you to deal with whatever was haunting you. I wanted you to become the surgeon you were capable of being. She paused. And you did, she said. After that day, after I pushed you aside, something changed in you. You became more careful, more present, more focused. You saved thousands of lives after that surgery. Real saves. Your hands, your skills, your dedication. She shook her head at Oh, you think any of that would have happened if I had exposed you? If I had told everyone that the famous Dr. Okonkwo froze during surgery, your career would have ended. All those lives you saved afterward would have been lost. She touched his arm. I stayed silent because I believe in your potential, she said. I stayed silent because I knew you could become the doctor you were meant to be. And you did. She looked at the medal in his hands. That medal is not for one surgery, she said. It is for a lifetime of service. A lifetime that happened because I gave you a second chance. She pushed his hands back. Keep it, she said, and use your retirement to do what you should have done 27 years ago. Deal with your brother. Grieve him properly. Forgive yourself. She smiled. That is all I ever wanted, Doctor. Okonkwo broke down. He fell to his knees. He wept like he had not wept since Emmanuel died. And Catherine Williams, the nurse who had saved a life and kept a secret for 27 years, knelt beside him. She held him. She let him cry. She gave him permission to finally feel what he had been running from his entire career. The studio watched in silence. Oprah watched in silence. The cameras captured everything. Not for entertainment, for witness, for the sacred act of watching a man finally face his ghosts. The episode that aired was unlike anything in television history. IT was not a celebration. IT was a confession. IT was not a victory. IT was a surrender. But something unexpected happened. The response was overwhelming. Not condemnation, compassion. Thousands of people wrote to the show. Doctors wrote about their own secret failures. Nurses wrote about the times they had saved surgeons from themselves. Patients wrote about the grace they felt for the humans who treated them. The episode sparked a national conversation about perfectionism in medicine, about the impossible standards doctors are held to, about the hidden traumas that drive people into healing professions, about the humanity beneath the white coats. Dr. Okonkwo did not disappear after the episode. He did something unexpected. He went back to Nigeria. For the first time in 54 years, he visited his brother's grave. He knelt in the red dirt. He spoke to Emmanuel. He told him everything. The guilt, the career, the lives he had saved, the lives he had failed. He asked for forgiveness. And whether or not he received it from his brother's spirit, he received something else, that he received it from himself. The Michael and Emmanuel Okonkwo Foundation was established the following year. IT builds medical clinics in underserved areas of Nigeria. It provides training for healthcare workers who might otherwise rely on dangerous remedies. IT educates communities about the difference between real medicine and false hope. IT ensures that no other desperate sibling has to watch their brother die from poison sold as cure. Catherine Williams serves on the board. She never accepted recognition for what she did in that surgery, but she accepted a role in building something that matters, something that will outlive them both. Something that transforms old wounds into new life. Dr. Okonkwo is 81 now. His hands still shake, but he's at peace. That he speaks at medical schools, that he tells students about Emmanuel, about the frozen 17 seconds, about the nurse who saved him from himself, that he tells them that perfection is not the goal. Honesty is, growth is, learning from failure is, and he tells them the most important thing of all. Your mistakes do not define you. What you do after them does. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another story like this. Because there are more confessions waiting to be made. More secrets waiting to be revealed. More ghosts waiting to be faced. And somewhere out there, someone is carrying a burden, a mistake they have never admitted, that a failure they have never processed, that a ghost they have been running from their entire life. Maybe it is time to stop running. Maybe it is time to tell the truth. Maybe it is time to kneel in the red dirt and finally say, I am sorry, not to earn forgiveness, but to become free. That is what Dr. Okonkwo learned. That is what Catherine showed him. That is what Oprah witnessed. And now it is your turn. What are you carrying? What truth are you hiding? What ghost needs to be faced? Today could be the day. Today could be your confession. Today could be the beginning of peace.